Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another indie game. Today we will try to heal. Today we will try to heal Hitler. If you think this game is anti-Semitic, please go away with your crap. Thank you very much. This guy did an impersonation of their Führer. He made fun of our beloved Führer. How dare he? I will complain. Führer! Oh, Führer! Welcome to today's little video. Today we will heal Hitler. This game is a psychological game where we will have the Führer on a little couch. We'll try to convince him to not go bonkers. Oh, my schnoz. Let us jump right in.
This game was created by one developer and 2 voice actors. It is a psychology simulator taking place in 1925, before Hitler came to power. It is a game about resolving Hitler's trauma and preventing catastrophe via therapy and psychology. The facts in the game are historically accurate. During the marketing period, people accused the developer of being a Nazi apologist. He's not. He is Czech, and Hitler murdered tens of thousands of his ancestors.
Stupid, ignorant people.
This game is an experiment. You're using methods that were available back then. It is a conversational game, and you can finish it in under an hour. In each therapy session, you get 3 to 8 choices that influence the ending. Hitler was a human too, just like you. If you distance yourself from him by dehumanizing,
He was a human too? I thought he was an elephant. Oh my God.
Psychological damage.
How dare you?
In order to develop your shadow, you need to realize and admit that given the right life circumstances, you could become someone like Hitler too.
Me?
You're about good and evil. And if you don't admit that someone like Hitler could come
I would
again,
never become
we are
somebody
going
like
to repeat history.
our Führer. Our Führer.
Enjoy the game.
We had to turn the neighbors off. They made too much noise.
Hello, Mr. Hitler. It is very nice to meet you.
Guten Tag.
Okay, there's multiple endings, so let's try and get a good one. We don't want the Holocaust, so we'll try to avoid it. That's not a good thing, in case you probably don't remember, right?
Well, you can lie down.
Let's pretend it never happened so it can happen again.
And,
Yeah,
what
good
brings you
idea.
into therapy today?
Well, I just returned from giving a public speech, and my colleagues mentioned that I seem too
Bond
angry.
with him first.
Once I overheard them talking about me, and they called me an angry little man.
And do you agree with them?
I don't think so. They lack willpower, so I don't really value what they have to say anyway. They are just minions.
When they commented on your being angry, do you know what you were talking about during the speech?
About the state of Germany. It was very humiliating for our country to lose the Great War. And now we have to pay reparations, and our army is restricted. Our economy is in shambles. I feel humiliated, and someone is at fault here.
Well, yes, that must feel humiliating. I noticed you mentioned Germany as your country, but on the telephone, you mentioned that you are Austrian.
I am, but I refuse to fight for Austria-Hungary. I absolutely hate them, but I would do anything for Germany. There is no better nation.
Why do you feel that Germany is the best nation?
It's an idea I got when I was listening to Wagner. I had it for some time, you see, but later I learned it was called Pan-Germanism. I want to unite all the German-speaking people into one nation. We have to get back what is ours. They took it from us in the Great War. It was a horrible loss.
And when did you make the
book fell
decision
down.
to fight for Germany instead of Austria-Hungary?
It was in my adolescence when I thought of this. My father loved Austria-Hungary. He worked in the Austrian civil service and he wanted me to do the same thing. We fought a lot about that. What a horrible drunk he was. I hated him. But at least he taught me not to trust the authorities. Anyway, I enlisted in the Bavarian army and they accepted me. So I was able to slip in through the cracks without a problem. No one noticed.
You say you don't trust authorities. But how do you explain that you are an authority yourself? Should the people distrust you because of that?
Distrust me? Of course not. I am reliable and trustworthy. It is the others with the powers that are not, especially in the financial and the education
Always the others.
systems.
When I'm in charge, everything's gonna be different! Alright, I think the father thing is more important because he said he was a drunk and he hated him. Maybe he has a father complex or how it's called.
Your father more?
No, I don't even want to think about him right now.
Okay. Can you tell me about your war experience?
What the war was like? Well, I was a messenger, so I was pretty safe most of the time, except for when we were at Wervik in Belgium, when the British attacked. They used the yellow gas and I could not put on the mask in time. My eyes were burning and I could not see a thing. They took me to this field hospital where the doctor said I was just acting. How dare he? The doctor was nothing but another authority that
dare
made me
you?
distrust all of
Ruined
them.
my
I
life.
cannot believe this. I was horribly scared. I felt so helpless. I was never this close to dying before. And the doctor tells me I was just acting? And the horrors I saw at Passchendaele. I could not sleep for months.
I think you're just acting. Okay, that's really, really bad. I think this experience could be... We're not here to troll Hitler. Remember this. It would be funny. It would be funny. You know, because... And stuff. Oh, no!
I think this experience could
Oh,
be
thank
what you
God.
are struggling
That's what I wanted
with.
to click. I hit the table
It
and
is
then the mouse
common
clicked
among
yes.
soldiers to experience an exceptional
That's
emotional distress that could sometimes lead to temporary blindness. If your nervous system was overloaded, it could have ceased to take any further input. The doctors today are calling it shell shock.
That would explain a lot, but I still feel humiliated sometimes. I should not have been that weak. I should have been stronger than that.
So this is gonna go the Jews. And this one... Because he has been weak. So I don't think, you know... We're gonna follow this instead. We're gonna try and find out if there's a problem within him and if he's projecting. I think this is going towards the way that we already know that he went.
It is normal for people to experience humiliation when having shell shock. Part of what our nervous system does is control emotions. Does this humiliation show up in other areas of your life?
I don't want to talk about this right now.
You said that you think that losing the war was somebody's fault?
Well, while I was in
Was
prison,
the
I
Jews.
had a lot of time to think about this, and I am positive it was the Jews, the Marxists, and the Bolsheviks. They stabbed us in the back. They are a cancer. They are a deadly virus to the beautiful and the lovely body of Germany, infecting us from the inside. I despise
The
them.
Marxists.
Parasites. They disgust me. I wish I could just eliminate them
it's
from
Black
the
Lives
surface
Matter?
of the earth. The Jews are involved with
Trained
the communists
Marxists.
in a conspiracy to take over the world. I think that 3/4 of all the communists are Jews. This combination of Jews and Marxists has already been successful in Russia, and now it threatens the rest of Europe.
You seem very passionate about this.
Yeah, that's definitely not
But
true.
if I recall correctly, You came here because your colleagues described some of your speeches as being very angry. This could be what your colleagues are referring to. I think you need to be patient about establishing your political program. You won't get very far if you alienate the public. After all, they elect you. And for that, they need to trust you.
Little
and
did
see
he
you
know
as a
that he was
responsible
successful
leader.
with this.
If you start talking about
You can always
eliminating
count on the
Jews,
emotions
you
of the
won't get
people.
anywhere.
To get angry
Maybe
and
you
then
didn't choose
agree
the
with
ideal
stupid things.
approach here.
What do you suggest, sir?
Or get
It is
scared and
not
agree
just
with
me that
stupid
thinks
things.
this, I hope you know. The German people also think the Jews are to blame. It has been this way since I became the leader of the Workers' Party. I hear the anti-Semitic remarks everywhere I go.
You must know how long it took the Prussian generals to prepare for the last war, and that revolutionaries like Mussolini need the will of the people behind them. Slogans, especially ideological ones like anti-Semitism and anti-clericalism, won't bring starving people to the barricades. Why do you and your followers spread hatred toward Jews and papal authority?
And the Pope
We can be
too,
political opponents, but if you want to lead an entire nation into a better future, we need one another. Bring back the old order of God. How about you write your vision
huh?
down?
The old order of
It would help
God?
you plan for your future.
I've already done this while I was in prison. I had plenty of time to write my book, even though I am not so good at the writing. When I am speaking in public, the right word always comes natural to me, but not so much when I am writing.
Well, that you are already writing your thoughts down is good. Let's use that to identify your main thoughts and feelings during the day. I want you to keep a daily journal of people and situations that trigger an emotional response in you. Maybe other people are seeing these things you are doing as anger. If we journal this, we can have a better understanding of what they see and what you see. Record your feelings, and we will talk about it in the next session.
Very well. I will give this a try.
You didn't tell me about your prison experience yet. What happened?
Okay, I wrote
I
it
was
down.
supposed to be executed for my role in the beer hall putsch, but they didn't know I would use the trial as a showcase for my political views. It was free publicity, and I won. I managed to get the sentence down from execution to just 5 years imprisonment, and they let me go after a few months for good behavior. I also read a lot, so it was basically a free education at the state's expense. I read Henry Ford's autobiography, and he made a lot of sense when he talked about the Jews. It is the Jews, after all, who govern the American Stock Exchange, which every year makes the Jews more and more the controlling masters of a nation of 120 million. There is only a single great man, Henry Ford, that still maintains his full independence from them, and they hate him for it.
Tell me more about the putsch.
Tell me more about the beer hall putsch.
The Biru putsch.
Well, I got around 2,500 members of my party together, and we planned to overthrow the local government. The police got involved, some people died, and I escaped and hid in my press spokesman's house. I couldn't take the loss, you see, and I almost committed suicide, but his wife, she talked me out of it, and then I was arrested.
And are you still having suicidal thoughts?
No, of course not. I was desperate back then. That was a long time ago, you see. And now I have the support of my followers, and they actually listen to me now. I will definitely use the advice you gave me today to adjust my political program.
I am glad to hear that. Well, we are at the end of our time. Why don't we stop here? We will talk in the next session about
Oh
the
no,
other
I hope it's not
issues
going to
you
be a
mentioned,
super
but
weird journal
make
with
sure
all
you
weird
bring me at least one
drawings
journal,
in it.
so we have something to work with.
Hitler leaves NSDAP party? Ah, session 1 done. Yeah, shoop-a-doo. He left the Nazi party. National Socialist Democrats. Alright, Hitler leaves the NSDAP party. National Socialists. You know the Socialists? It's not the National Capitalist Party, in case you didn't know.
Did you write any journals since we last saw each other?
Actually, no. I didn't find time to do this. But I remember one event from the past when I was in emotional stress, and I am sure of the cause.
Okay, great. Can you describe the event?
I was on a date with a girl at the cafe. She was around 18 years old, and we were talking
But
about
was he
my
like
paintings.
30 something,
You see,
maybe?
I wanted to follow a career as a painter, but they didn't accept me anywhere. So I had to look for other ways to get into the business. And at this cafe, as luck would have it, there was a local gallery owner, this very known guy. Fortunately, I had a few of the paintings in my briefcase, so I had something to show him. But when I showed them to him, he basically told me that my watercolor paintings were not worth anything. This wasn't fair to me. I felt horrible, and I walked away. I tried to talk with the girl
It's like
about
Hunter
it, but when she
Biden's
tried to
painting.
comfort
He
me and
paints
tell
like a
me that my
5-year-old,
paintings were
but he
not so
gets half
bad,
$1,000,000
I
for them.
exploded. My skills
And then
were
the
way
White
better
House
than
hides
this
who buys it.
Jewish gallery
That
owner.
seems legit.
He had no idea what he was talking about. I taught myself how to paint when I was 9. And this dumbcough, who had only the formal education, had the nerve to tell me that my paintings were bad?
Okay, my skill were way better than this Jewish gallery owner. Oh, another Jew that somehow made him unhappy. I mean, sometimes in life, you just get a certain amount of luck. You know, there's people who have bad experiences with Jews. There's people who have bad experiences with Muslims. There's people who have bad experiences with, with Christians, with white people, with black people, with Asians. You know, it's random. Sometimes, when you have a dice, you roll it a couple of times. Sometimes you roll the same number all the time. And that's life. It doesn't mean it's a conspiracy. Sometimes it's just chance. Just a pattern I noticed in the last one. You tend to date very young girls. So this is a bad one. This is like, so you're a pervert? Yeah, that's gonna work with him. So we're gonna use this one, I think. Let me read it first. I understand you already told me that you wanted to get an art college unsuccessfully. So being a painter is one of your long-sought dreams, and this man denied you the possibility. So this is where we have to follow up. He's a Jew, and he denied him his dream.
Yes, he was a verdammt Jew.
Can you tell me more about your dream of being a painter?
I always wanted to paint. I started to paint when I was around 9 years old. My mother always supported me, but my father hated my artistic orientation. He wanted me to become a customs agent like him, and he did not allow me to go to the art school like I wanted to. This was a source of massive conflict between us. An office job would be like a prison to me, but in the end it was okay. I learned a lot about National Socialism in the high school, and then I dropped out.
I guess that was the good one. What a good twist of fate. Your father did not support you. Yeah, let's talk about his father again. He has a problem with his father.
No, not at all. He was very dogmatic and strict, but my mother always supported everything I did. When my father died, I was free to pursue my dream of becoming the painter. As I said, I applied twice to the academy, and they rejected me both times. And they took my best friend August in. That hurt me even more. I was sure I could make it. I was confident. But they told me I was not good enough. They said I would be a fine architect, but not a painter. Jews, all of them.
You've mentioned Jews as the cause of your problems multiple times. First, you mentioned they stabbed Germany in the back in the war, and now they've betrayed you again. Do you see any connection between these events?
What do you mean? Jews are part of the economy. They control the finances. They are insidious. They hide like rats, and they manipulate everything.
All of
Everybody
them.
can
There's
see
not
this.
one of them that's
It wasn't
different.
hard for me to make this observation.
How old was your date? No, I don't care how old the date was. I want to know more about his mother.
I really love my mother. She was the most precious person I've known.
It's something
I
positive
loved
for
her
him.
very much. She always provided me with everything I wanted. She gave me my own way.
Maybe it's a strategy to go positive, negative, positive, negative. If you go negative, 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 maybe he'll just
You
walk
talk
out.
so much softer about her than you do about other things.
See?
Tell me more about her.
Interesting.
When she died, this devastated me. It was a pain
Not sure if I like
have
the
never
music though,
experienced
honestly.
Before or again.
How did she die?
It was breast cancer. I was 18 years old at the time. Her
It's
doctor
actually
was
a picture of his
Czech Jew,
mother.
Dr. Edward Bloch.
So she was someone you loved very much. Do you blame the doctor for her death?
What?
Let me guess, he was a
He
Jew?
was a very kind person. He was a Jew. He treated my mother free
Oh, he
of
was a
charge
nice
because
Jew.
we had no money at the time. Actually, I sent him a postcard and a painting I made as a thank you.
So
really
he's
was
basically a
good
proof that he's
Some
wrong.
time ago, I found that he said about me that he never saw anyone so devastated with the grief as me in all of his years in the profession.
It seems safe to say that you were very
So how can you
close
hate
with
all
your mother
Jews?
and very distant
Talk
with
about
your father.
all
Could you tell
Jews
me
when you
more
know
about
one
their
that's not like that.
My
That
mother
hasn't
was
been
22
negative
years
towards you.
younger than him. When we moved to the new farm, a big part of the money was taken from her inheritance. She liked to be active and was very joyful. She also understood the economics. She would go to the post office and help slaughter the pigs. My father was away very often, you see. And when he returned home, he was mostly drunk. And he was very dominant, I would say. Mother listened to him. She had no
Dominant
choice.
father.
I see. Coming back to the pattern I noticed earlier in your
Attachment
girlfriends,
theory.
You also tend to date girls much younger than yourself, and as you described,
Oh, here we go,
them, they
talking
are
about
rather
this, huh?
submissive. Do you think you could be unconsciously modeling your relationships after your parents?
I've already explained to you my rationale behind the girlfriends before.
No,
I do
you
not mean
didn't.
to repeat myself.
Okay, I think it is time we end today's session.
Okay, let's see
I will
today's
see you next
newspaper.
time.
Hitler stops the publishing of his book. Huh. I think we're going places.
All right, Adolf. I think it is finally time we talk about your father. We have made some real
Oh, that was
progress
months
over these
ago. Oh
past
yeah,
few
there's a
months.
date at the top. I missed it before. Do you think he was not? We're not ask him about this. Because he's probably going to say no. We'll ask this.
No, I don't think that was it.
We'll
I
involve him
don't
right
think it
into
was
the
his
thing.
job either. He was a very orderly and conscientious person, so he liked the work as a customs officer, but he really hated the bourgeoisie.
The bourgeoisie.
He was a self-taught genius, like me. I think we talked about him teaching me not to trust the authorities before. He was a very wise man. He knew a lot about a lot of things, and I admired him for this. I respected him, you see, but there was no love between us. I wanted to prove myself to him, but he rejected my accomplishments. He beat me often for the things I did.
The middle
When I read
class
Karl May once,
is the
I found
bourgeoisie.
that it was a sign of courage to hide one's pain. I decided that when he beat me next time, I would make no sound. When it happened, I knew my mother was standing anxiously at the door. I counted every stroke out loud. Mother thought I had gone mad when I reported to her with a beaming smile 32 strokes father gave me. From that day, I never needed to repeat this experiment, for my father never beat me again.
Yeah, never beat your kids. So this was his father. Look at the nice, friendly face he has. Beating kids for F's sake. You're trash if you're beating kids, okay? Even if you're a kid yourself. Only if it's a self-defense or the defense of others, it is acceptable. Why did you count the strokes? The father beat him, and he was like, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Why did he count, or what was the incident about? I think counting is more particular, more interesting. Why?
I just said this. I wanted to look strong in his eyes.
Oh yeah, of course, you already
And
told us.
what was this incident
Oh, no.
about?
I
You
don't
messed it up again.
I think it was a picture I drew.
What made you decide to show
Picture
him?
of cocks.
No, I was young and I wanted to cause him to smile. I didn't like him. I hated him, even while I was showing it to him. But I still wanted to be the cause of him smiling.
Most children want to please their parents, Adolf. It's healthy.
Healthy? I knew what he would do, and I still did it. Are you trying to say this is healthy?
The desire, yes. The decision to show him your sketch, consequences known, probably not. So you showed him your sketch, and after that,
He took it away from me. You already know what happened next, so there is little point in repeating.
beat him like
this
a bongo.
normal information.
yes, I do know what happened next. But the point is for you to acknowledge it. You need to say it and process it, even though it is painful.
It was not painful, and there is still no pain for me. It is normal for a father to do these things, hit and scream and yell.
Okay. Thank you for working that out loud.
Not normal.
You say that's normal for a father.
Jess,
Why do you hate him? So it's not that. So you say it's normal and yet you still hate him?
more than anything,
Do you hate him because he hurt you?
I don't know why.
I'm sure you do. You just don't realize it yet. It's still around, just swimming under the water, just where you can't see it. You don't feel hate when you think of him hitting you. Then when do you feel hatred towards him?
Just when I think of him at all. Him, my father, that causes hate in me.
All of it? All of the hate?
Yes.
Father complex, or however, if that's a thing. I know there's a mother complex. There has to be a father complex. Is there a brother complex? An aunt complex? A niece complex? A great-great-great-grandfather? No, I guess you never knew him. But could you have a complex? Okay, I'll shut up. Let's go. What do you do when you feel the hate? How do you handle the hate? This is basically the same question. Okay, what do you do?
What do you mean?
When it comes, bubbles up inside you, what
He
action
goes
do
for
you
a
take?
fap. That would
I have
help.
unimaginable things to do. For Germany, for the human race. What time is there for this anger management?
I understand the incomprehensible importance your life has been endowed with, but you are bound to do things when you are angry, regardless of your intent. They happen with or without us. You mentioned
With
your
or
work,
without
life,
me.
and career. What do you do when you feel angry during your work?
My colleagues commented on me being angry. That is why I started coming here. When I become angry, I vocalize this in my speeches. I told you before, I am most frustrated about the Jews controlling the economy. And as I stated on multiple occasions, the final goal of anti-Semitism must be the irrevocable and complete removal of the Jews. I have been saying this since 1919. Haven't you learned anything from me?
There is no reason to get aggressive, Adolf. I am your friend. You know I am trying to help you, and I already know what the cause of your anger is. But you weren't ready until now. But during the past months, we've built something here, and I feel like it's the right time to share my findings with you. I think you are ready to hear my final diagnosis.
Uh-oh.
Want to hear it?
Sorry, Jess. I know you want to help me. Okay,
Uh-oh.
tell me the findings.
Okay. It's obvious to me that you are equating Jews and Marxists with a disease or a virus for a reason. You said multiple times you have problems with Jews and Marxists, yes? Yes, this one. Yeah, obviously disease. He didn't say anything about a disease. He said a cancer at a certain point, but you said it once. For a reason. So this is basically the same. It's just phrased a little bit different. You are equating them with a disease for a reason. Yeah, obviously it's a reason. I said multiple times you have a problem. Okay, problem?
Jess, this is what I've been trying to tell you. They are like a tuberculosis of the human race and need to be eliminated.
It is obvious to me that you are equating Jews and Marxists with a disease or a virus for a reason.
And what reason might this be?
It all started with the death of your mother. That was the first real trauma that happened to you, and even though you rationally acknowledged that the doctor helped your mother, you unconsciously associated her death with him. You unconsciously blamed him, the Jewish doctor, for the biggest pain in your life.
What are you talking about? I like this doctor, even though he was Jew.
Yes, that is true, but only on a conscious level. The unconscious consists of factors which you cannot control. The absolute majority of your
I don't know if
psyche
that
is
was
controlled by
actually
your
true.
unconscious. I know you don't like to hear this because you like to control everything, but people have almost no control over their lives, you and me included. Only when you come to terms with the unconscious can you start becoming who you really are. That is also why you refer to the Jewish people as a cancer or an infection.
What are you saying?
I hope it's the good
This
ending.
is sounding nonsense to me.
No Holocaust,
I know
please.
it is hard to hear, but it is important that you understand this. You hated your father. He was meant to support you, but instead he beat you when you tried to connect with him. You told me before that you were glad he died. The hate towards him that you carried inside, it became twisted. The war trauma and the art school rejection only fueled it. You equated the Jews and the Marxists with your father. All of that hate was mistakenly redirected. We say projected. You couldn't take the pain he caused you, so you had to find some cause, and you projected it onto Jews and Marxists.
No, stop. I don't want to
Oh,
hear
no.
this.
This is my final diagnosis, Adolf. This is what we've been working on. You equated the cancer in your mother with Jews because you mistakenly associated the Jewish doctor with the cause of your mother's death. That's why you are so strongly anti-Semitic.
This is absolute nonsense.
Oh, no.
I will not listen to this.
Oh no. I think you screwed up. You screwed up again. Unbelievable. Now there's gonna be a Holocaust and it's gonna be your fault. We'll tell him more.
Another thing is your high disgust sensitivity, which you mentioned a few times before. You are a so-called
yeah.
germaphobe.
I heard something about
Your
this.
remarks about Jews being a virus, an infection, and Germany being a pristine body infected with Jewish parasites point very clearly to your behavioral immune system.
You Hosenscheißer. You useless fucking psychologist. You Arschgeige. I told you no more.
You
That is
Arschgeige.
it. We are done here, and I will remember you for this.
Hitler forms SS. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O! Unfortunately, the Schutzstaffel has been formed by our father! And yeah, it was an interesting game. I know time went into research, so it's an interesting little mind play, I would say. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. And if you think this is anti-Semitic, you're a moron. Have a great day. Goodbye.